As always, we got Mark Dunn bringing us in hot with that rock music. Thank you, sir, for your contribution to the show. This is the 757 House Whisperer Show. That's 757housewhisperer.com. Our phone number is 757-955-9415. Call or text in any questions that you have about your house. I'm the House Whisperer, and houses talk to me. You guys come in. We have got a group of guys that I've gotten together to answer all your questions about any problems that you have in your house. I am trying to create a show that basically people have a place to go in the Hampton Roads area, in the 757. Call in, ask your questions about the house. We will answer it. I want you to try and stump my experts. I don't think you can do it. Call in with any crazy questions, crazy problems. I mean, if I can't figure it out, Justin, you got to figure it out.
Well, I'll tell you, Chuck, I definitely try my best. If I can't figure it out, I'll find the answer.
That's right. So Justin is with Pyramid Roofing. He does anything roofing needs, architecture, slate, metal, any questions that you got. So it's going to be me and Justin tonight. I want you to call in and try and stump my roofer. Huh?
Well, I mean, I've seen a lot out there, so let's give it a go, Chuck.
I mean, I figured, we made all our mistakes 20 years ago. So, we figured out all the problems that everybody else created, and we've been fixing them for, a long time. I'm a little bit longer in the tooth than you, but
yeah, you got a couple years on me, but I got some time to catch up.
That's right. So Justin with Pyramid Roofing, Mike Davenport with CVP Custom Vinyl Products, windows. He's our window specialist. Tommy Hines, the Perfect Home Remedy guy. He's our money guy. Albin with Albin Homes and Albin Co. Remodeling, new construction, anything having to do with house building, house construction. He is the man. So that's our team of experts. Tonight we're going to focus on, obviously, I'm Chuck Worley. I'm the founder of the show. I own Worley's Home Services. We do heating and air conditioning, electrical, plumbing, crawl space encapsulations, insulation, spray foam. There's really not much about a house that I haven't fixed. I have been doing this for a really, really, really long time. I mentioned my tooth is longer than Justin's. I feel like there's not many things that I haven't seen in a house. I am a building science expert. If it comes to houses and problems in houses, I'm the guy that people call. And that's what I wanted to create the show, to kind of give you guys a place for the 757 homeowners to call and ask your questions. The biggest thing I want to remind you guys, and I know I remind you a lot about this, when you're calling in asking questions, you're not just helping yourself. I have been in construction, gosh, animal.
Go ahead and say it, Chuck. Go ahead and say it.
1989, I got into the apprentice school at the shipyard.
Chuck,
I've been doing. Were you born? Okay. Well, at least you were born.
At least you were born.
Lord. So I got into the apprentice school, learned heating and air conditioning, got out into construction. My dad was a CB in the Navy, so he did everything: electrical, plumbing, roofing, siding. Like, my dad was always fixing something on somebody's houses. So. I never realized how blessed I was to have somebody like my dad in the house that could fix everything. So then when I started getting older and construction stuff started coming up, I'm like, oh, I know that needs a 16-penny nail because that's longer, and it needs to go through 2 2x4s. And all my friends are like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm like, this is a hammer. And they're like, what? And my joke is about my dad, I knew how to use a hammer by 10 and duck one by 12. I mean, if you've ever had a chief in your life, my dad he taught me a lot.
No, that's actually really cool. My dad was in the Navy as well, so
that's
awesome.
Mean,
growing up military, it's you got to pick up on a little bit of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to kind of create this show where you guys, when you call in and ask questions, you're not just helping yourself. You're actually helping thousands of other people with very similar questions. Someone calls in a couple of weeks ago about siding and whether I should paint it or not. Man, how many people have been, I was wondering, should I do siding? Should I not do siding? Should I paint it? Should I not? Man, that's a good question. that called in. I guess that was 1 or 2 weeks ago when she called in. But my point is, we hadn't had a siding question,
Right.
But it's really cool that people call in and ask questions. Sometimes they don't even understand their own question. But we can help them kind of walk through it and say, okay, is this what you're asking? Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. So,
well, Chuck, not even some of that though. I mean, what if you just have a project around the house, and you don't know what's available.
Right.
Some folks don't even know that you can actually paint siding. I mean, it's a case by case basis, of course,
100%,
but I mean,
100%.
Some folks don't even know that.
Yeah, so definitely call in. The phone number is 627-7979. That phone number again is 627-7979. Call in now. Don't wait till the end of the show. Like I said, Justin wants somebody to try and stump him.
Let's go.
That's going to be a really good question if he stumps one of us. So heating and air conditioning, electrical, plumbing, crawl space stuff. Definitely want you guys calling in. 627-7979. Ask a problem about your house. We created this show just to help the 757 homeowner. So call in. You can reach us at the 757 House Whisperer. Like our Facebook page, YouTube page, Chuck Worley. Call or text 757-955-9415. Call now. Call us now. So I wanted to let you know our area is pretty much, don't say Richmond because we're not going there. I think y'all don't go that far, do you?
It depends on the case by case.
It's got to be somebody at a referral or something like that. But because I've got a buddy of mine, got a friend in Richmond. I mean, his mom's in Richmond. So, but pretty much New Kent, Towano, that's our area, right?
Yeah.
757, a little bit of 804.
Carolina line.
And then all the way to Carolina line.
Right.
That's us. So pretty much that's our area. Those are our neighbors. That's where, I grew up here. I grew up in Norfolk. So that's our stomping ground. So I do have a couple trivia questions. So some of you guys know I live on a 5-acre farm in Yorktown, and I learned this a really long time ago. I had about 150-pound goat, and his name was Bucky, and he was meaner than a rattlesnake. I ain't gonna lie. He was 150 pounds. He'd boss my horses around like he was a sucker. He really was. He was tough as nails. So anyway. Trivia about goats. What do you call a baby goat? And Bucky was not a baby goat. He was a 150-pound goat. You know, it's 3 foot high, 3 foot wide. The dude was a stump.
I've seen some at the petting zoo, but 150 pounds.
Dude, I did have a Jamaican guy come up my driveway.
Did he give you a recipe?
No. He goes, man, I'll give you $150, $1 a pound for you. And I'm like, man, he's my pet. You can't. He was a mean pet, but I did keep him. He lasted 17 years.
Dang, go.
I don't even know how long goats last. But
that was my next question. How long are they supposed to?
You have to look that up. Maybe we'll have that as a trivia this year.
That's about right.
Is it about 20? It's got to be probably 20.
Typically less than 20, but
but 17. And I never thought he'd die. Like, he was just meaner than a rattlesnake and just whatever. So my second one is one of my favorite actors, toughest man in the 60s and 70s, John Wayne's real name. John Wayne's real name.
Talk about Gacy or the actor?
No, the actor.
All right, just making sure.
Yeah, but that's a good question to clear it up. And my daughter's favorite musician is Bruno Mars. So when I was on that subject, what is his real name?
That's
names.
not their
and
real
don't
names?
be no.
That's how much I know.
No, that is not their real names. So what do you call a baby goat, John Wayne's real name, and Bruno Mars' real name? So Bruno Mars is obviously a very successful singer. And so anyway, I am going to – oh, shoot. Looks like we got some callers already. That's fantastic. Let's go there. That's Eric. Mr. Eric, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good, House Whisperer. How the heck are you?
I'm doing well, man. I got these houses talking to me. I'm not sure if I should be worried about that or not.
Well, other than the kid goat answer to your question, I do have a question for your roofing guy. I don't know about having it be a stumper or not, but I am curious about the position you take on energy savings and the possibility of a slate roof being replaced by solar tiles. Seems like changes are coming daily on new stuff that looks like a real slate tile. Thing is,
That is a great question,
house.
Eric.
Yeah, so tell me what your position is on that. I mean, everybody's talking about renewables and this and that. Obviously, the slate roof has been there for over 100 years, so it lasts. But what's your thoughts on that?
So, Eric, to be honest with you, I've actually got solar panels on my own house. I am a firm believer of, trying not to pay Dominion so much money. I do love solar a lot. Now, as far as what kind of roof do you have on there now?
It's like I said, over 100-year-old, slate tiles. So,
Okay,
and
yeah.
I'm not interested necessarily in putting up the big giant squares that are mounted to that. I think it's probably not where we want to go. But the replacement of the actual tiles, singularly, that
Yeah.
are tied together in new ways through solar. That's kind of what I'm thinking about it.
So your
it
question
looks better
is
for a
just-
house of that age, that kind of thing.
So your question is to go to the solar-looking panels or the solar slate roofing material as solar. Is that your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, are they ready for actually replacing those on 105-year-old houses like mine?
So to just be completely transparent with you, depends on what your stance is, really. There are some of the solar tiles are available, but in my personal opinion, this is the House Whisperer Show. We're always going to be honest with you. I don't think the technology is where it really needs to be right now for me,
Gotcha.
to jump into that. So on my house, I actually have 30.
You're actually talking about the slate-looking
Yes,
panels.
yes.
So that technology, not solar.
No,
the
the
solar's fine.
Solar's
Yeah,
fine. I
yeah.
actually have I guess they're, I just lost it for a second. But
Solar panels?
Yeah, I've got the
Yeah.
solar panels on my house, but they're elevated off of the asphalt shingles. So I love solar, but the ones that are actually integrated into the tile itself, truthfully, the
I mean,
technology.
what are they, a year out? 2 years? I mean, they just got. I just saw them a year ago.
Tesla's been developing them for a number of years.
Okay.
Well, there's
But do you want to be the test guinea pig? Do you want to know?
There's actually one home on Taylor Road. I don't know if you're familiar with Western Branch, but there is one house that does have the integrated panels on it. It looks fantastic, but talking to some different people in the industry, your actual upfront cost versus what you're going to get back out of it, it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
It will be there, just it's not there right now. That's my
Alrighty.
personal
That's what I
opinion
need
on
to
it.
hear.
Please
I will
don't have any
include
solar companies call me and cuss me, but
Yeah.
that's my personal opinion on it.
All right, man. I will assume Pyramid will train their folks to do it properly when the time is right. You'll give my call. All right, man?
100%.
All right. You take care.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Do you want to go to Gary? All right, let's go to Gary.
Welcome, Gary.
Hey, how are you guys doing? It's good to hear. Good to hear somebody's sane voice on the radio this afternoon. I got two questions.
I don't know. I haven't been called sane for a while.
It's been a little while. I don't know if that's a word that goes for construction workers.
That's right. What can we do for you?
I'm trying to be nice. So a couple things. The main reason I call is because I heard you guys a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I don't know, the whispering thing. And I need some help with windows, with casement windows. I've got a house that was built in '86 near the water. The casement windows are all rotting out. I've gone to the big boxes. I still get robocalls for all these window companies that want to come and just basically tell you, if you sign tonight, we'll give you 50% off. I don't trust any of these guys, okay?
Yeah.
This window business thing has taken, it's like going to a used car salesman.
It's
It's
pretty horrible. Yeah.
really
I guess
is.
you did hear me and Mike Davenport a couple weeks ago. We were talking about that, and he spent a lot of time on that. Look, if you're good at what you do, I feel like we're really good at what we do. I don't have to spend
Right.
4 hours in your house to tell you. I just don't. I'm going to show you a great product. This is what we do. My guys are not in houses that long. Like, we're coming in. We're going to show you what needs to be done. This is what needs to be done. Do your due diligence. That's fine. But we're going to show you the best product, a great price for a great job. And, I mean, you always got to worry about Bubba and Skeeter coming in there. And, I mean, comes in. I mean, some guy said Chuck in a truck. I don't like that one because my name's Chuck. But I mean,
Dan in a van.
Dan in a van. I like that one a lot better. Yeah. So, but I mean, if you're good at what you do, and those guys trying to close you to do the job the next day. I mean, if they're not busy right now in construction, I don't want them in my house. No. Like there is a little bit of a backlog, but.
There is.
Yeah, but Mike Davenport is your man. I've known him for, 30 years. I've been in a men's group with him for probably 20 years. You're going to get exactly what he tells you you're going to get, or he's going to put a foot in somebody's butt. The greatest part about him is he actually owns the manufacturer, and he's one of the partners with Barry that actually manufactures the window. So guess what? If something's off and they did the measurements wrong or whatever, I mean – he doesn't have to wait for China to send him a new one. They just go back to Newport News and build it. So
so that's part of the question because I know what I need, right?
Okay.
And I think the money's made, all on the framing and the labor, and the windows somebody knows how to get for pretty dirt cheap. So we want good windows, but the issue really is, I would say 90% of the work is reframing. Because we've got rotted out framework, which I'm sure. A ton of people listening to this right now have the same problem here in Virginia Beach, right? It's a lot of the homes were built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and so they're all the homes that have windows, especially if you're near the water, they're rotting out. So really, what I need is somebody who's a good framer. I had a guy; he got really sick. Apparently, I never got to see him again. He was like the window guy, but it sounds like you guys have your own builder, framers, and it sounds like you also have some good connections with good window folks. Because, I know you can get, the Anderson windows. There's at least 4 different brands. You guys know which ones they are.
They are.
And they're all trying to sell you the window brand. And they're all trying to sell you,
so you're really on the right. You're really on the right track because it's the same in roofing. It's the same in air conditioning. It's the same in windows. It has zero to do with. The product is important. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. It is important. You don't want to buy a bad product, but it's even if you go to what's that thing that they grade certain things.
Angie's List.
No, it's the old stuff from the 80s and 90s.
I'm only 83 here.
Oh, yeah, I know. But we'd get the Consumer Reports. Dang, I couldn't think of it. Yeah. Sorry, you guys
even I've heard of that.
You're young. Yeah. So anyway, Consumer Reports, they were like, if you really look at it, when they did heating and air, it was like 3% difference in this product versus that product. Yet it was Train, it was Rude, it was Carrier, but they're all like 2 or 3% better than the other one. So it wasn't like 48% better. You know what I'm saying? So everything has to do with the installation, right? So if you don't install it properly, I have gone back on brand new 20-SEER, tens of thousands of dollars systems installed improperly. Or they install it on a duct system. They'll install a 3-ton unit on a 2-ton duct system, or a 4-ton unit on a. Hey, this guy gave me a better price for he gave me a 3-ton and then upgraded me to 4-ton for free. I'm like, okay, well that guy just got you.
It sounds like that laying around.
Yeah, that's something he had in the shop, right? So my point is the installation is more important than the actual product itself. That's why we drug test. That's why we background check. That's why I don't have knuckleheads working for us. Pyramid's a respected business. How many guys, and I'll talk to my guys about this. We just had a company meeting. We all, we met over at a bowling alley, and, all the guys are all in the same place. I want character, integrity, doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. That's who I want working for me, working with me. I tell them I want to be proud of who's working for me, but I also want you guys proud of who you're working for, and getting those people, winners like winners.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
absolutely.
You know,
Chuck, absolutely.
I can't tell you, when I was working for other companies and the guy's sitting there driving the truck and smoking a doobie on the way to the truck, I'm like, I'm done here. Let me out. I'm on Route 17 going down the road, and he goes, What? I said, stop the truck.
Yeah.
Let me out. This is my second day at this company.
No, that's
You got to pull over. He goes, man, it's traffic. I said, stop the truck. Get me out of this truck. I got 2 kids to feed. I'm not getting fired.
No,
like, you
absolutely
lost
not.
your mind. Now it's different now, but it's the craziness of drugs now. But it's crazy that the standard of employee drops when the standard of I heard something the other day. It's what you allow, right? We have a standard.
Exactly.
We have a worldly standard, the chief standard, being raised by that chief. You're going to do the right thing. You got to get the right people working for you. And the way you do that is have standards in your company. And that's why I've surrounded myself with Pyramid. I've surrounded myself with other companies that I feel like have the same standard that I do. Let's do the right job. Are we perfect? Man, when you have 80 employees, something's going to go crazy. You have 80 people in the same place.
It happens.
But, it's doing the right job, Now, going back to exactly what I'm talking about with you is, does glass leak? When you touch the glass, does the glass leak? No, it's the caulk around it, the installation of the window, the making of the window. No, the glass is made in a shop. The window is made in a shop. Air conditioners are made in manufacturing plants. They're made in these places where there's not a lot of failure. Where's the failure?
Oh, it's always installation.
It's always installation, right?
Well, Chuck, I'm sure you just like us too. I mean, we don't over at Pyramid Roofing. We don't really have a high turnover rate on our technicians. A lot of our technicians are 5, 7, 10, 15-year employees. I mean, you got to take care of the guys, and the guys got to do the right work to be able to stay on board that long.
I would agree. I mean, you have been there, 15 years?
16 will be August 1st.
And you got your choice where you could go. I mean,
I'm not here. I'm not here to brag.
You're pretty good.
But I'm all right. I do okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, Pyramid. They definitely, we set ourselves apart from everybody else. We want to do, basically, it's the right way or it's no way. I mean, honestly, if it's not good enough for my house, why should it even be an option for a customer?
Right. Right. If I'm not doing it in my house, I'll tell you a funny story with tankless water heaters. 15 years ago, I'm like, I hadn't even heard of tankless water heaters.
Right.
So I said, well, I got to put one in my house. Everybody's asking me for them.
Yeah.
So I put one in my house. I will fight you to get rid of that thing. I will
love
fight
it.
you. If you come and get a
I love it.
tankless, I will fight you. But I couldn't sell it unless I put it in and felt the endless hot water and all that stuff. It's fantastic. But my point is, I can't sell something that
you don't believe in,
that I don't believe in, or that I don't know works.
Absolutely.
Well, I will plug tankless.
if
They
it's-
work.
if
We will
it's-
fight people. They tried to
I
take
have
our.
one on my
Give me a
house.
tank. You lost your mind.
Yeah, right.
I don't want one.
No, the gas tankless system, that's what's in my house. And like I said, I mean, if you want to sit in the shower for 2 hours, well,
Right.
go ahead. It's going to be hot.
Yeah, exactly. So let's remind you how to call in. 627-7979. Please call in today. Ask your questions about your house. Stomp my boy Justin about anything with roofing, man. Anything. We had a solar question. Just call in and ask. 757-627-7979. The phone number for the 757 House Whisperer is 955-9415. If you got a question, you can even text it on that number, 955-9415. Thank y'all.
Yeah, coming up, we've got calls from John and Cindy, so hold up. We'll get more phone calls on the way to this live show at 757 House Whisperer right here on News Talk 790 WNIS. Quick news break, and we'll be right back.
Hey, everybody, this is the 757 House Whisperers Show coming right back at you. Call in about any questions about your house. 627-7979. We got too many phone numbers around here. And then if you want to text or call in and text, 757-955-9415. Some people don't want to call in. They're a little shy. They can text their questions and we can answer them. So we're going to go right to Miss Cindy in Smithfield.
Hi, Cindy.
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, Miss Cindy. How are you? Got a crawl space question.
I have a crawl space question. I was just wondering, I've been around and around and around my house, and I can't figure out how to get into the crawl.
There is normally a hole on the side of your house that's never big enough for me to get through it.
I've squeezed into.
Why'd you pick roofs, Justin? Why'd you pick roofs?
I've tried to get in a crawl space, specifically mine, and then just aborted mission and went running.
Yeah, it is not meant for the weak. It is not meant for skinny or chubby people like me to get under there. But I do it. I got a crawl suit in the truck. I do do it.
Yeah.
But there's normally a hole. Sometimes there's one in the garage that you can access your crawl space. There is normally on the back side of the house, there is a opening. It could be wood, it could be metal, it could be plastic, it could be, there's a thousand. But normally
hidden by shrubs.
it could be hidden by shrubs. And then the other thing that you're going to have is 95% of all the vents underneath your house are like I think it's 8 by 16 is the actual. So if you see a like small hole 8 inches by 16 inches, that's not the hole you're supposed to go through.
No, I'll never.
Me and
make it into
Justin
that.
are
There's
not.
no
I mean,
way.
if you cut your shoulders off, like maybe if you cut an
squeeze
arm
it in a
off, you
bit?
might be able to fit in there. But yeah. So that is how you get into your crawl space.
Hey, Chuck,
Yes, ma'am.
what if I'm on a slab?
Well, then there is no crawl space.
You know who this is?
I do. I just recognized your voice a minute ago. How you doing, Miss Cindy? Actually, I got a thing about slabs. My ductwork. So I had a service tech call in and say he has water in his duct system, and I said, "Water in your duct system? How in the hell do you have water in your duct system?" And I was like, "Are you on a slab?" He goes, "Yes, it's in a slab." So the guy had set up a sump pump in his ductwork. He pulled the grill off and put one of those small sump pumps. He had a small sump pump and had to suck out his water every year. And it could be from we're coming up on April showers. I'm already done with April showers because March was March showers.
Oh yeah.
We must have broke a record in rain this thing. Well, that's when it happens. When it starts raining too much, he gets water in his slab. And so what happens is, if some people don't realize this, but back, I think it's normally 1950s, 1960s houses, they got the bright idea to put metal ductwork, lay out the metal ductwork, and pour concrete all around the metal ductwork.
Seems
Well,
like,
what's the problem with that?
I think there's going to be some kind of reaction with that.
You think the moisture touching the metal
Probably not
would do
great.
anything to the metal over 40, 50 years?
I'm going to go with rust clean out.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, so rust clean. So what happened was that the rust, the ductwork in this 6-inch line, 5-inch line really, because they used to do it a lot when they'd put a furnace in the middle of the house, and then they'd have these 5-inch lines shoot out. They're like, 900 square foot houses is what I'm talking about. Hampton did it. Virginia Beach, I think, was that. A lot of Norfolk houses. So they'd have this furnace before air conditioning, because we didn't really get into air conditioning until the 70s, right?
Come on now.
It's I don't remember that, Justin. I saw how you looked at me. I am not that old.
I always remember air conditioning.
That's because you're young. You're a baby, So anyway, what happens is this water, of course, when you buy a house and an area's nickname is called Tide Water, Tidal Water. Tide Water. The name in the area you're buying a house is called Tide Water as a nickname. What does that mean? We have tidal water. We have water in the ground. Water's coming up. And if you're on a slab, it's getting into the duct system. The duct system, oh, man, I have seen. Now, they have gotten smarter. I saw a guy put an addition on his house, and he goes, I want ductwork from the crawl space over into this. Yeah, and I'm like, well, there's just no way to do that. I said, well, I could put it in PVC. So we ran PVC 2 lines out into his addition because he didn't want an ugly mini split. Actually, his wife didn't want it. So we ran 3 vents out there, did a load calculation, figured out he needed about 600 CFM. So we got 4 vents out there is what it was. So we ran PVC and laid it where the slab was going to go, and then they poured concrete around the PVC. I mean, it works. There was no other way to do it. And then we put a zoning damper on it.
How long ago was that?
What's that? I couldn't hear you.
How long ago did the concrete go over top the piping there?
That was probably 9 years ago when we did that, to maybe 10.
Okay, so
but
it's been a decent amount of time.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not going to rust, right? I mean, it's PVC, so it's going great. It is going great. So, but anyway, all right, we got another caller. Thanks for calling in, Cindy. Let's go to John in Suffolk.
Hey guys, how y'all doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Doing well. I guess you got one of our trivia questions, I see.
Yeah, I know who Bruno Mars' real name is. Peter Hernandez.
What's his middle name?
Gene. If you.
Oh man! Now, be honest. Did you GTS it?
Okay, no. He's in a movie. I have an 11-year-old daughter that's in love with Encanto, and so a little credit to Dan as an adult. I said that voice sounds so familiar, and it was Peter Hernandez. And I said, God, I don't know. It doesn't do anything for me. And then it gets a little in the parentheses, Bruno Mars. And so it said Peter Gene Hernandez. So I remember just having to Google who was that. Then it said Bruno Mars. Okay, I got you.
That's hysterical. All right. So you didn't Google this time, but you Googled in the past. We'll still give you credit.
I live and die by Google. That's everything.
Yeah. No, it's GTS. Google that. We'll say stuff.
Yeah,
we'll say stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so you got where you at? In Suffolk. You over in Riverfront?
No, I'm on the western end. I'm in the farmland on the western side.
Nice,
real Suffolk.
Nice, yeah.
Not new Suffolk.
Yeah,
we had a call.
140 acres.
Yeah, we had. Oh, wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We had a caller call in the other day about a metal roof out there in Suffolk. He said, "Man, out here, everybody's got metal roofs." You remember that?
Yeah, out in the country, it's definitely the way to go, especially with the wind lines and not having wind breaks from the tree lines. Metal is probably your best bet.
Yeah. So you got an older house out there in Suffolk?
I'm very lucky. I just moved about 5 years ago, and we did a new build. And I think we're the only one on our streets with a shingled roof. So that's kind of funny. You say that.
Yeah.
But
the shingles are still a good option. I mean, vast majority
of them
all have.
My wife's a pastor, and we were living in a parsonage, and we had a metal roof. And right before we moved, just a regular garden thunderstorm peeled it right off, and that made me nervous about it. So we went with it was an older house, but we went with the shingled roof.
Well, that was if it peeled off, that was it was a metal, but that was probably the old school standing. It's a flat lock tin roof. It's a little bit thinner.
Yeah.
It's not really what we have today. But even with an asphalt shingled roof, you got 130 mile an hour wind rating with basically the bare minimum. I don't know what's going to be left of the area if we actually get 130 miles an hour through here.
Yeah.
The roof will be together, but it might be a quarter of a mile away.
Yeah, we'll be building a lot of new houses.
Yeah, they're a lot.
Yeah, we were doing we pulled permits on everything, and we were doing a new heating and air unit for this guy, and he lives in, it was down in Hampton, down Salt Ponds, I think it was. Okay, and it's really nice area, but anyway, he goes, yeah, the line is 9 foot, right? Well, the house was probably, it was probably 6 foot 7 foot off the ground. Mm-hmm. House is, 10 years old. But even back 10 years ago, they're moving these water lines. Oh yeah, the height, it's all the time. So anyway, we go over there. He's like, yeah, it has to be I mean, it was like 9.4 feet in the air. And I'm like, what in the, I mean, 9 foot. I said, if there's water 9 foot in the air, there's not going to be anybody left in Hampton.
No, we
like,
need
what
to start
in the
looking
world?
at houseboats at that point.
Some of these codes, man, are just, they make me shake my head. It's like, I mean, the lady was like, look, I can't have it 9 foot. It was, actually, it wasn't an air conditioner, it was a generator. Mm-hmm. And so we couldn't, she goes, I don't want that thing in front of my window. Like, I mean, and she ain't wrong. Like,
no, I wouldn't disagree
she
with that.
was not wrong, man.
No.
So we ended up having to move it to the other side of the house because it had to be. Normally the code is, and if some of y'all don't know this, the code is normally with, where your subfloor is typically where your line is going to be for height on a air conditioner flood platform, which we can build those for you. You can build them yourself. We don't care. But we do it just because no one's really ready to do it when we're ready to do the thing. So we'll put the soft platform there. But it's typically even with the subfloor of the house. I mean, what do you need it 4 inches or 40 inches above that? I mean, it
doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I mean, a storm comes through 9.5 feet
I think
in the middle of it. I mean, Isabel wasn't that high.
No.
And that was back in 2001. Was it 1, 3?
Yeah,
no, it was
3.
It was 2003. Yeah.
Some of y'all are high school then, there, Chuck.
Oh my gosh! See, yeah,
go ahead and let that sink
You're
in.
not being nice. That's just nice. So we're supposed to be friends. We're supposed to be friends, man. You're busting my long tooth.
Come on now.
That's all right, because I do it to Mike Davenport and Tommy all the time.
Tommy, yeah, I get it. No, good times.
They're in the 7 club, the 7-0 club. So it's.
I got some years to catch up on that. About
exactly.
30.
Oh. So I do have another call. Someone had text me in. I was talking earlier about the ductwork in the crawl spaces. So back 20 years ago, gosh, it was probably 25 years ago, I was working for another company, and great guy, had this slab situation come in, and the lady was not getting any airflow through her duct system. And she's calling around, and no one wants to mess with ductwork. It's the middle of the summertime. And my friend Jack's just like, look, just go look why she has no airflow. It's probably disconnected, whatever, right? So I get out there, and I call, and I pull the grill off. This is just FYI for you people in slabs. If you have ductwork in your slab, it still exists. It's probably 15% of all duct systems, maybe 10, but they do still exist, right? So I'm helping somebody in downtown Norfolk, probably, or Hampton. So I know they're in Hampton because I have seen them several times.
They're in Norfolk too.
Are they in Norfolk? Yeah.
Well,
I'm trying to think of a slab area.
I remember there was one. It was military housing actually had it.
Okay, that would make sense.
But I think they've been torn down since.
Yeah, probably. That's what I said. It's probably only 10%. So anyway, I get over to this lady's house, and I mean, she's probably in her 60s. I'm 30. I'm younger than you. Uh-huh. And I go out there, and I had never seen this before. And I go out there, and I'm like, I pull the grill off, and I'm like, I check the unit, make sure the unit was running. It's blowing. It sounds like a hurricane when it comes on. It was an old 100,000 BTU furnace in this 900 square foot house. Just to put that in perspective, she might have needed a 50,000 BTU furnace.
Severely
overkill.
Yeah.
2-ton units, probably all she needed, about 800 CFM. She had like this monster blower. So I'm thinking maybe the blower motor's not working or something because she's getting no air. Pull the grill off. There's no air coming through this.
We got a clog or something?
I'm like, what in the world is going on? So, again, it was old, so the motor was probably failing. And I'm like, so I called Jack, and he's like, reach your hand down in the duct. And I said, Jack, I'm a big guy. I'm a brave guy. But I got to tell you, that's never going to happen.
There's things down there.
That is never going to happen. So he goes, all right, well, go grab a big spoon or something. That's right. Go grab this big spoon out of the kitchen. I reach in there, and he said, pull back, like scoop it and pull it back. So I said, all right, now this guy's longer in the tooth than all of us, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. Cobwebs.
What?
Freaking cobwebs. There was so many cobwebs in this duct that it was literally stopping the airflow. Yeah. So he goes, just tell her to call a duct cleaning company, which Worley's does do that. So we, did a duct cleaning, got somebody out there to duct cleaning. She had airflow. She was happy as could
Back
be.
in business.
Back in business. But she had a straight furnace and but that blew my mind. So see,
Well, Chuck, knowing what you know today, will you now stick your hand in there, or will you at least instruct
You're a
your
funny
apprentice
guy.
to put his hand in there?
I will. I will instruct my apprentice that if he wants to keep his job, he's got to stick
The
his
new
hand in
guys
there.
always have to pay.
Yes.
That's how you learn.
When I was in the apprentice school, going through the theory classes and stuff, the guys would always test you. Has anybody heard of a a wrench? No,
Rebar wrench?
metal stretcher.
Well,
Yeah,
we-
tin metal stretcher, and I'm like, so of course, growing up with Pop, I mean, I knew vice grips to hammer to net, like I knew, and I'm like, what in the heck? You can't stretch metal. Like, what are you talking about? So I didn't get caught by any of that crap. But all the other apprentices, I never did it to anybody else because I felt so bad for these
Chuck,
guys.
you got to get them. In the roofing, we got the shingle stretcher and the sky hook.
The shingle stretcher.
The sky
now that's a
hooks
good
are
one.
always great.
Yeah,
Go find a sky hook for me real quick. I got to tie off.
Where's it at? In the back of the truck.
Where you going to put it at? Well, just go get it.
The sky hook.
The sky hook.
That's hysterical.
I've heard rebar wrench. Go get the rebar wrench. Go find me a rebar wrench.
Okay, yeah, that's one. Yeah, we'll have to have that as a trivia question. What's the funniest tool you send to get an apprentice?
Those go back a while, too.
Yeah,
A bunch of the old school roofers who taught me, tried to get me with the shingle stretcher. I mean, I'm not the brightest crayon, but, it doesn't add up.
Yeah,
Shingle,
yeah.
the sky hook, though, that's a classic.
That one is. Yeah, the shingle stretcher. I do like that one.
Yeah.
That's definitely a good one. But yeah, I thought that would be some good information. 757 House Whisperer is always trying to give you information about houses in our area, problems that we run across, not stuff up in, some of you guys have heard homes on homes and stuff like that. I felt like, he's up in Canada and he's got different things that they do in Canada that they don't do here. One of the things that I saw them do was put plastic behind sheetrock because it's a vapor barrier because it's, 12 degrees under zero. Yeah. And I'm like, if you put plastic behind sheetrock in our bathrooms, how much mold can you count? Like the amount of spores in your house with the molds and the mildews and the humidity. They don't have humidity there, right?
Yeah.
So humidity we're dealing with, and that's why I think the value of our show is talking about our area, the 757 situations that we run into that somebody else up north might not run into.
Yeah, our specific region.
Don't really need a lot of snow blowers here, right?
No,
so
not a whole lot.
Don't have to worry about the weight of snow on our roofs. You just have to wait 24 hours.
You don't want to talk about what it does to the traffic, though, either. But like you said, a lot of that, when we do get snow, the next day it's gone. Or at least starting to be.
Yeah, it's speaking of like mild weather, I was talking to a customer the other day about dual fuel. Dual fuel systems are gas furnaces with backup heat pumps. And the heat pumps run about 75% of the time here. Up north, they don't even know what a heat pump is. My joke is I used to do a lot of new construction. I don't do any now, but new construction that 5% of the houses in this area have a furnace upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah.
95% or 90% of the houses have a furnace downstairs, heat pump up. Why is that? Well, the 5%, I believe, this is just my opinion, is all the Northerners that came down here and told the builder, you lost your cotton baked mind. There ain't no daggone, I am not putting a heat pump in my house because they had never heard of a heat pump.
Right.
So, it's a cool thing to look when you're looking back over the years of all the different installations and stuff that you see. But the dual fuel, if you do have gas on your second floor and you go to replace that furnace, I would spend the extra $1,500, $2,000 going to the heat pump. All you're doing is taking out the air conditioner and adding the heat pump to the system you're already buying. So if it's already 8, 10, whatever the number is for the unit, you're just spending an extra $1,500 to $2,000 for the dual fuel. You will get your money back within a couple years because that gas furnace is never coming on in the wintertime. About 15, 25, less than 20% of the time it's going to come on. Because think about it. How many days do we actually have under 40?
Not very many.
Like, it's a handful, right?
I don't even think the ground really froze this year.
I do remember a 17-day, but the next day was 62.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just doesn't stay. So the cool part about the dual fuel system is all these mild days we have, the gas never comes on.
Right.
So you'll drop your gas bill in half. I had a friend of mine that averaged about $150 a month in gas. We put dual fuel on. It went down to $25 on his gas bill because it was it's not, especially this year.
Right.
We didn't even really have a winter this year.
I mean, how many days did we even get below freezing on a regular?
No.
During the day though.
No.
At night it got down. But
yeah. It was.
We had a real mild.
We're praying for a very hot summer.
Oh, come on now. I'm on the roof. Yeah. Okay. Let's have the hottest summer
That's
on
not
record.
fair.
That's smart.
That's not fair. Hey, thanks for joining the show, the 757 House Whisperer. And please call us or text us at 955-9415. Thanks for enjoying our show. And please, next week, call in. Thank you.
I appreciate everybody. Thank you.
The preceding program was sponsored and paid for by Worley Home Services, who's entirely responsible for its content.